And as you grow and you go through different stages with your business, you are going to need relationships. You're going to need other people to talk to and support you, to point you in the right direction, to connect you with the right people. And those relationships are so important.
Welcome to Drop and Give Me 20, where you learn keys to entrepreneurial success as Lindsey interviews business owners with military backgrounds on what works and what doesn't. Listen as they focus on the stories, both challenges and wins, that military entrepreneurs have faced in growing their businesses.
Welcome to another episode of Drop and Give Me 20. I am your host, Lindsey with Germono Advertising Company. Drop and Give Me 20 is brought to you by Germono Advertising Company. We're so glad you're here. I am joined with two of my online friends that I've never met in person, but I'm excited to meet you guys in September. Moni, Jefferson, and Kristen Smith. So good morning still to both of you.
Thank you so much for having us.
And Kristen, I'd love for you to introduce yourself to the listeners and tell us a little bit about your business.
Sure. I am the founder of Blog Your Genius, which is an online education opportunity for women, particularly who are looking to create out-of-the-box professional opportunities, mainly through social and online presence. And it's a membership site. We also have some courses and things like that. But I am a longtime blogger and digital marketer. And so I have done the full gamut of, affiliate marketing, and I've sold blogs and done freelance marketing work and agency marketing work. And this has been a really wonderful way for me to help my community kind of create similar opportunities to what has made a huge difference in my life.
Wonderful. Thank you for coming on. There's a lot of money to be made in affiliate marketing.
Yes.
Moni, your time, girl. Give the red carpet.
Behind this amazing bombshell. So I am Moni Jefferson. Most of you know me. I have a virtual public relations and social media agency that I work from all across the country because that's what military spouses do. And I'm also the creator of Mil Spouse Creative, which is a virtual global networking community for military spouse entrepreneurs to connect, collaborate, and, create relationships along this entrepreneurial journey. And I just added Accidental App Creator. So I have a couple of apps out there, Milcam, Milimoji, and we just launched my Ultimate PCS. So I don't create the apps, I just have the idea. I think people always get that mixed up, but yeah.
Well, it's nice to have you on, Moni. We've communicated before. And Kristen, this is our first time being on together, but we've certainly shared a lot of Facebook groups and a lot of dialogue. So I'm so excited to have you guys on. So the topic of today is collaboration. And we started talking about this before I hit record. Sometimes I wish I could record that stuff because we got on a really good train of thought as we were trying to get prepped for this topic. I would love to set the tone for our listeners that in our business world, collaboration, in my opinion, means, you might not offer a service or it might not be your specialty. So you look for other parties that do that type of work. So that way you can partner together on a piece of business. Or collaboration is maybe you can't handle that amount of work. So you look for somebody that, jives in that same lane so that you can work together. So two businesses or two entities that collaborate together. So that's kind of the tone. But we started on a path, Kristen, with this concept of collaboration, relationships, unofficial. You want to share that with our listeners because you were on a good path with that.
Sure. So, I think that before you can ever talk about business collaborations, you have to talk about business relationships. And the reality is that even though as entrepreneurs, we tend to be strong working solo, so we have great ideas and we're good with running with things and we're good at administrating things. But the reality is that just like a child, it takes a village to raise a business. And as you grow and you go through different stages with your business, you are going to need relationships. You're going to need other people to talk to and support you, to point you in the right direction, to connect you with the right people. And those relationships are so important. And when you take the time to nurture and develop those relationships, all along your entrepreneurial journey, instead of just focusing on where can I get ROI on this relationship? Can this person make me money? Can this relationship with this person grow my business from a direct income stream kind of way? Then I think that makes it really difficult to create collaborations. When you focus on the relationship and just having productive, positive, constructive relationships, then the doors to collaboration open themselves automatically.
Moni, I know you guys, I saw you like move. I'm on it.
No, I agree with Kristen. And we've had these conversations all online. I do feel like along the journey of being an entrepreneur, we want to do all the things, right? We're like, oh, I'm going to do this and I can do that and I can do this. The truth is you can't. No matter how smart, how talented, how many resources you think you have, you can't do business by yourself, which is why collaboration is so invaluable. And so the networking and the partnering or, helping people out, you're planting little seeds of what you're doing and you're showing people who you are. And that also refers people to come and work with you and say, oh, I heard about this person or this person worked with that person. And so, yeah, ROI is not always, you don't automatically always see it. But, if you and I are talking about collaboration or just, hey, I'm giving you a piece of advice and Kristen's like, I know the person just for that. She might be talking to somebody who I gave Kristen advice to or shared something with her that could help her propel her business. She's like, I know the person for you, and bang, there's a referral. You may not have seen the ROI in that little seed you planted with one person, but it is going to reap later on. And I firmly believe that 95% of my business is referral.
Oh, yeah.
Referral based. I initially, when I started my business, I was going to networking events and doing all this and, doing all that. But now it's all based on the referrals, just sending somebody a message and saying, hey, you may want to try this, or let's hop on a 15-minute call. Let me help you strategize, or I have a couple of pitches you could send this person. Like, it's just that simple. It's not always about the money. You know what I mean?
And it pays off. I had someone comment to me maybe a couple months ago, that for a marketer, I don't do an awful lot of marketing, just direct advertisement style. And I told her, I said, I don't have to. Right. The last 2 years, I've hit my business income goal in September. And it's just off of word of mouth referral and out of the communities that I've built. And it's mostly because of collaborations that I've done.
But let's talk about, so I'm a bad news first type of woman. I want you to tell me the bad stuff and then the good stuff, let's just get it over with. So when we talk about collaborating, there are some things that we should be aware of. And one of my tips is it's okay if the relationship doesn't feel good, or if you feel like that person's asking. It's okay if you decide this just isn't a good fit for me. So I'm going to kind of like blanket it with that. Talk to me about what recommendations or pieces of advice will you give somebody if that collaboration is turning into something that's not feeling that great?
I think the number one thing for me is to separate the personal and the business. So I can be wonderful friends with someone. I can love them. I can admire their business. I can like what they do, and it's not a good professional fit for collaboration. Maybe our audiences don't match up. Maybe our workflows just don't match up. And so it's really tough to get things done. Maybe they're not at the same point as me business-wise, and so it just doesn't mesh well. There's a whole lot of reasons there that from a business perspective, a collaboration doesn't make sense. And so it's okay to say, I love you and I want to help you and I want to empower you, but it's not a good time for my business right now. And that was a really difficult line for me to learn how to draw the distinction between personal and professional. But once I did, it really changed the way collaborations worked in my business.
Yeah.
I want to start from the beginning, like what you would do. What are the red flags before you get to that part? And the only reason I know is because I've been through it, right? So, and then you're like, this red flag comes up and that one, but you're so far into it, you're like, what do I do? So the first thing I always think is like, I always go with my gut. Like always with my gut. It's not about how many numbers you have. It's not about how many followers you have, how many interviews you've been on. To me, it's like, go with your gut, because you never know what can happen from any collaboration. When two spouses or two people's beautiful brains come together, you can do amazing things. And then I also say, do your homework. Find out what their online portfolio looks like. and make sure that it matches with your norms, with your values, with your audience's norms and values, because those that trust your brand, that are following you, they're watching you, and they're going to want to support you in any way. And if you're doing something that's not in your branding, or that's not typical behavior of what your brand is, or doesn't look like it, they're going to be like confused.
Yeah. So do your homework and being bold and saying this isn't a good fit at this time from a business. I say bold, but that's business. Moni in particular, you and I have had a discussion about things that didn't feel right about somebody. And so we were giving a professional courtesy to each other on a heads up. This person is not aligning with, I think, what you're wanting to align with. So I would say that collaboration is also looking out for your business owner friends. And this happens a lot in the military community, where we see someone, we hear somebody has burned a bridge, and we just want to give a heads up. So I'm going to call Moni or, message her, and that we've done this on one particular person in general. Sorry if you guys are hearing dog tags. Athena gets fired up about this as well. And she's scratching to tell us that she knows what this is all about. But that's happened, right, Moni? I mean, you and I have talked about a certain particular individual that was coming into the military spouse entrepreneurship community. And we were like, whoa.
Yeah.
Like, heads up. I'm feeling this way. Now, we did the right thing in having a conversation with that person directly. You did, I did, not trusting 100% in what, was out there. We took that upon ourselves, but there is that professional heads up that I think that we owe each other as business owners on. And it happens in the civilian owned world too. I don't care if you're military or not, but giving each other a heads up on, listen, I see you're about to collaborate with this person. And it's not starting drama, but it's just, I think you might want to know this going into it. What do you guys feel about that?
I mean, I think that's, from a business standpoint, first of all, I appreciate it. I don't really see it as, some people might see it as gossip. I see it as a professional business courtesy. If you respect me as a business owner and you know of something that's going on, and you know that my whole life is my business, just that professional courtesy in a respectful way, but also to allow me in a way to still make those decisions.
Sure.
So like reaching out and saying, hey, this is my experience. I'm just telling you, I'm coming from a place of love and professionalism, but you do what you do. I'm going to support you no matter what, and just keep it moving. But I appreciate those. And I have done that too with those that I admire what they're doing and I respect their business. And so, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I think there's a lot of value to, from the beginning of a collaboration, building escape routes. And this is something that, I feel really strongly about. And so it's something that I've always done. But when I initiate a collaboration with someone, and when we're in the planning stages, I always make a point of putting on the timeline, here's 2 places where we're going to stop and we're going to assess and say, is this working for our business? Is the planning coming along the way that it needs to? And if it's not, here's where we can pump the brakes and cancel everything.
I love it. You're talking about the divorce. I love it.
Yes. And one of the things that I find is when I create that expectation I literally put it, because I use Asana for project management, and I have a task inside there with a due date that says, essentially an assessment meeting. And we're going to decide, and I call them escape routes, but it's my fire plan.
Yes.
And when I put it in there from the beginning, it puts it in their heads that they know I'm going to constantly be assessing and deciding at this point if I'm going to go forward. And that's one of those places where I found that, especially once I've worked with someone and they know that I do that, then when they see me working with somebody, they're like, hey.
Yes. It builds up that, because people know and they respect your business intelligence. And so they trust that. If she's working with that person, I know she's good people, or I know that person's good people. I'm the same way, especially if I see one of you two working with an organization, I'm like, okay, cool. They must be, just from my, interactions with you ladies, like I trust your business acumen and I trust that intuition from you both. Now I want to shift to the good stuff. So we kind of talked about some ugly stuff, and I know we carry on for hours about that, but that's not what this is about. This is about, if I wanted to talk about this whole concept of collaboration, but I don't know where to start. And Moni, I come to you and I'm like, I'm digging it, I'm buying in, but what do I do first? Like, can you help me out? What does that look like?
Well, I would first say that, make sure that your brands align. And it doesn't necessarily mean that because I'm a blogger, I have to collaborate with another blogger, right? It could be a blogger and a storefront. you just want to get in front of a new audience. So first thing I would figure out is how you guys are going to make that work. What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are their strengths? And what are your weaknesses? And then lay that out. And I use Trello to do all that. I haven't dabbled in Asana, but yeah, get your strengths and your weaknesses. See where you're going to fill in the gaps, who's going to be responsible for who, and how you're going to do that. And then conduct that campaign or collaboration as you would a business deal. Because, who's going to be, how much the finances are going to be. Is it going to be split? Is it going to come out of this? How are we going to make money? Are we making money? Or is it just for social media ROI? You know what I mean? Like, what is the outcome? So that's what I would say first is, because you jump into a collaboration and then you're like, but I'm not good at social media either. And so now you have two people that are not good at social media and you're both in a virtual space. Yeah. And nobody knows what to do. And now you have to figure out how to outsource that. What are you going to do? So yeah, I would definitely say outline your strengths and your weaknesses and make sure it's a good brand fit for real.
Kristen, anything to add on that?
Yeah, something that I start with is I'm really proactive about collaboration. It's something I actively look for. And so on my to-do list every month as part of my just ongoing business tasks is I make a point to send emails or messages or pick up the phone. And I pick 5 people a month and I reach out and I say, how can I help your business this month? Like, what can I do? And what I find is when I do that, usually they'll tell me, they have a special going on, or maybe they're getting ready to launch a product, or, maybe they're growing something or developing something. Or sometimes it's, I'm really struggling with, my email, or I'm really struggling to get my YouTube channel off the ground. But whatever that is, it tells me what they are focusing on. And if I can bring something to the table with my business that is an area of focus for them, then it's going to immediately offer not just value to their business, but value where they're looking.
Right.
So generally what I'll do is if I want to collaborate with someone is I'll find something I can do that's a priority for them that doesn't really cost me anything as far as time and effort. It's just shares of something or giving them some insight on something. And seeing how that plays out tests the water for a collaboration for me. So it gives me a little bit of insight into what their priorities are and what they're working on and what it's like to work with them a little bit. And typically what I find is if that goes well and it jives, they can feel it too. And so I'll get some sort of outreach to collaborate with them following that. It's a really natural way to get into a collaboration.
Yeah. So something that I'm gathering from both of you is you're very calculative in your approach for this. So it's not just, I'm going to shotgun effect this where I'm going to pull the trigger and it's just going to spray and I hope something sticks. It's a very calculative, planned, process. And so I love that too about you guys, because we all, right before I hit record, something I always start with, I want to respect your time. I want to respect that you have other meetings and stuff. So I am very calculative about that in my relationships too, and working forward. So you both have really great Facebook groups. I am in both of them, and that is the reason why I picked you both for this topic, because I saw a strength in both of you that I wanted to share out to our listeners. How can we, get involved in your groups? How can we find you guys on the internet?
So I am all over the internet because I have multiple businesses that are all digital. But the easiest way to find me is at blogyourgenius.com. And on the sidebar right there on the home page, you can find a button for military blogging buddies. And this is a group that I've had for, I think we're going on 9 years now. And it literally started with just my 5 blogging friends but it's grown into a really tremendous 1,300 person, all military affiliated content creating community. And it's been a wonderful place to find and identify collaboration opportunities.
Love your group. I love it. Thank you, Kristen. How about you, Moni?
You can find our community, which is the Mill Spouse Creative. If you go to my website, monijeffersonpr.com, there's a little tab that says Mill Spouse Creative. You click on that, it tells you all about the community. It's for military spouse entrepreneurs. It doesn't matter if you're a new entrepreneur, want to be an entrepreneur, or you're seasoned. Everybody in there has something so valuable to offer each other. And so, yeah, you can join it. It's free. You submit your information and it's just thriving. It's like a melting pot. I love it. There are spouses from all over doing amazing things. Both of you guys are in the group, always offering amazing advice and mentorship that people pay for. But in the community, these ladies, if you ask a question, they're like typing away, sharing resources, and it's just a place where people can feel unalone in this digital space, being an entrepreneur. And that's why I created it, because I felt super lonely starting my business and I felt very lost. And so, yeah, the community just does it. I mean, they were just pretty phenomenal. I love them.
I love that both of your groups pretty much operate by itself without much from you. I mean, all the members and stuff really support that. And I'll share, we have a Facebook group, Drop and Give Me 20 does, and we haven't shifted over yet where, we have tested other folks coming in and I think because people recognize that the group is operated by me, it's still kind of new. So I can't wait to, see what that looks like and get to the point in others, chiming in and initiating conversation like you both have in your groups. I want to thank you both for coming on. I told you 20 minutes goes like so fast. We covered a lot of really great, just information that I think people need to hear when it comes to collaborating. And for those that are listening, please do connect with Moni Jefferson PR, and Kristen Smith at Blog Your Genius. Both of them have really great Facebook groups that I'm a part of, and that is the reason why I invited them to come on. So sometimes you just got to show up, and that's a part of collaborating. Just show up and be there, and it will all happen organically. Anything else to add as we close up, ladies?
I really appreciate you having us.
Yep, same here. Thank you so much for including us in this amazing podcast. I love it.
You are welcome. I will see you both in just a couple weeks.
I know.
It's so cool when you get to see people in person, like, from being online. So thank you guys for listening to this episode of Drop and Give Me 20. Please connect with Moni Jefferson and Kristen Smith. And thank you ladies for your time today. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Drop and Give Me 20, brought to you by Germono Advertising Company in Norfolk, Virginia. Please visit our podcast in iTunes, click on subscribe, and leave us a review. Your support goes a long way. When you subscribe and leave reviews, it helps the guests on our show as well. Jump in and let us know what you think. You can also follow all of our guests on the Drop and Give Me 20 Facebook page. We have Instagram and Twitter. Those handles are Give Me 20 Podcast. I'm your host, Lindsey Germono, and I appreciate you listening to the show.